XRP in Bitcoin will end up number one and number two. We are heading into an all out war. Now, this war is completely different. And if you know and understand that this is just a game, this has happened over and over and over again in humanity. And if you can learn how to take the middle ground, operate within the void, and understand that everything is a wave of energy and you can see what's happening when they tell you to look this way, there's always another narrative going on this way. What we're seeing, and I'm going to break down major things that are happening right now. And I told you in 2020, the banks were going to custody your crypto in 2025. We were correct. I told you in 2020 that when SEC sued Ripple, that Ripple would win and XRP would be one of the biggest disruptive cryptos in the ecosystem. And I know that's going to happen. Okay. What I'm telling you is things that I'm actually doing myself. I'm teaching you the actual game. Okay. We became millionaires in cryptos and we built million-dollar ecosystems outside of crypto. We didn't buy Lambos. We didn't buy houses. We followed the key factors of richest man in Babylon, cash flow quadrant, think and grow rich, and the foundation, biblical wealth. So this is important. So this channel is not about the bullshit. This channel is about understanding the foundational model of what is actually happening. So let me explain. We are moving from politicians, okay, with self-interest, with no business sense, who literally get into a position and all they do is tell you what you want to hear so that they can create the best deal for them to feed their families. They don't care about you. Okay. We're moving to a business White House that knows how to run businesses. There's still self-interest, though. There's still massive, massive self-interest. The self-interest just is going to be better for the working class and the middle class. Now, here's the thing. Every person watching this has an opportunity that will never happen in our lifetime again. For the first time ever in history, the working class and middle class get a piece of Wall Street. And that's why the largest asset manager in the world, the largest bankers in the world told you to run as fast as you can from cryptocurrency. They made you think it was used for money laundering and all these things. Think about, would you use something that's on the blockchain, or would you use the US dollar that I could pass you a thing of briefcase and nobody could track? Think about that for just a moment. Use logic. Okay. Now what we're going into is an all-out war. Trump is a businessman. He has self-interest as well. The politicians have self-interest and the businessman has self-interest. You have to figure out, how can you protect your family? So I told you, he did the sweeping tariffs, which sucked the money out of the stock market. It didn't hurt the middle class. It helped the middle class because 10% of the stock market is, or 10% of the population owns 88% of the stock market. He hurt the people in the White House, the wealthy people. But that bled out into treasuries, which is going to force Jerome Powell to lower interest rates. If he doesn't, we're going to go into a deep recession. He threw sweeping tariffs on all the countries, started a trade war with China. And now he's like, nah, we'll give him 90 days now. It's all a chessboard. That's what he's doing. So what you're going to see, I'll promise I'll get into the facts, figures, numbers, log, but this is important. This is why we stay so calm. What you're going to see is you're going to see a transformation from an inflationary US dollar to a deflationary system, hence Bitcoin, XRP, okay? Your whole system is going to run off a blockchain technology, things like Ethereum, Solana, HBAR, ADA, supply chain management, VeChain. Bitcoin will be a store of value like gold. XRP will be a bridge currency, is a bridge currency of things like XLM. I'm giving you the new infrastructure of the new financial system. This has to happen. So US, Donald Trump, he caught a broken system, more debt than they have income. He's pulling it out of the politicians' hands that have no idea how to run a business. And he is going hard. He has to go hard. He had to drop those tariffs now. I mean, he has a year to get this in place. because the midterms are going to come, right? And then everything's going to flip again. He has to do as much as he can, as much pain right now, as fast as he can, so he can get this ecosystem in place. Now, here's why this is important, is you have the next 4 years to get wealthy as possible. Now, I know wealth is here and wealth is here. I'm talking about the resources in the physical world, okay? Because he's going to cause max pain over the next couple months, and that's going to give you massive gain over the next couple years. But remember, there's always going to be waves of energy. So that's how we were very strategic. We know going into 2028 to 2030, there's going to be another massive change. And that's when we go into our full new financial system from 2030 and beyond. So as you sit right here, the things that I'm talking about are deeply, deeply researched by our team. So I'm going to show you the facts, figures, numbers, logic. And then I'm going to tell you exactly what I do every single video. Okay. Now, I want to make this very clear. I'm not going to tell you anything that I don't do or I own myself. Okay. That's we're not in the get rich quick. You guys know I'm not a big meme coin fan. I do not think that it is good to play games with your money. I think it's a horrible way to teach people bad behaviors. I think you might as well go to the casino. Very, very few people win in the meme coin game. And that's not how wealth is built. Wealth is built slowly, methodically, and patiently. Okay. So Trump throws these sweeping tariffs out, right? Causes a visceral response in the markets. It's like multiple personalities. Like 1 minute the stock market is melting, the next minute it's green. This is why you have to be non-emotional. So the next day he posts and gives you a buy signal. He said, "This is a great time to buy." And then the market goes ballistic, skyrockets the stock market. Okay. And crypto's holding up pretty well with this, guys. I'm pretty shocked. Bitcoin is holding up pretty well. That's a signal to you right there. Bitcoin is holding up very, very, very well. Now, why do I keep talking about Bitcoin? It drives the whole market. It's 60% of the market. Okay. Bitcoin is 60% of the market. What Bitcoin does, the market is going to do. Okay. The actual Bitcoin dominance started to go up because when there's volatility, it's a deflationary asset. So when stocks are coming out, right, when people are rushing into the dollar, people are rushing into gold, they're rushing into silver, they're rushing into Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is a store of value. It's safety. Right before that, he had put, "Be cool. Everything is going to work out well. The U.S. will be bigger and better than ever." I truly believe that. I don't think he's calling anybody's bluff on that one. It's coming. Okay. So this is important. Okay. So we had 75 countries now have capitulated and reached out and they are negotiating. Now, Trump said, "Hey, I'm going to give you 90 days now." So he throws out this, hammer. And now he's like, "Now you have 90 days." So we have May, June, July. Okay. You're going to see a lot of negotiating, a lot of volatility, a lot of uncertainty. You'll see probably Jerome Powell lower interest rates in June, that they're going to start turning that printing machine back on. And then August, boom. And you're going to see the back end of the year, the stock markets are going to pump, the crypto markets are going to pump. And that's when you got to be ready with an exit plan. Okay, down below, I have a free masterclass for you in the description of the video or on my social media platform. You can copy our exact. We show exactly how to do an exit plan. We own Merlin, smartest way to track your crypto. Check this out.
In terms of escalation, unfortunately, the biggest offender in the global trading system is China, and they're the only country who's escalated. And I can tell the rest of the world that I'm not sure whether it was the prime minister or the economic minister in Spain made some comments this morning. Oh, well, maybe we should align ourselves more with China. That would be cutting your own throat, because I can tell you that these Chinese exports that the U.S. tariff wall is going to keep out, that China, for all of you who can remember that Disney movie of the brooms carrying the buckets of water, that is a Chinese business model. It never stops. They just keep producing and producing and dumping, and it's going somewhere. And I think, Rob, at the end of the day, that we can probably reach a deal with our allies, with the other countries.
This is important.
That have been long-term. They've been good military allies, not perfect economic allies, and then we can approach China as a group.
So they're teaming up behind the scenes to approach China. So China is not backing down from Trump's tariff. Okay. We know that. Okay. Kevin O'Leary, we're not gonna watch this video, but he's like, I want 104%. He goes, I want a 400% tariff. And the reason why he said that is he says he does business with China. And he said they're bullies, man. They're bullies. And so what we're moving from, why I'm explaining this to you, because this is the game. And if you're emotional about your crypto portfolio, if you're emotional about your stock portfolio, you're gonna get wrecked because you're gonna make emotional decisions. You have to put on that long-term horizon. When it dips like this, it's your opportunity to DCA in, dollar cost average in. Okay. It's going to be a bumpy ass ride, but this is where wealth is built in crypto specifically. This is how we got wealthy. When it dips like this, we buy, right? And when it goes up, we're wealthier now. When it dips and we know what we hold, Bitcoin, XRP, XLM, all these things, I buy more. And when it comes back, I'm wealthier. It's not rocket science. Okay, so listen to what he says right here, and then I'll bring you guys back on my screen. I think 2 more videos to show you.
Much of this decision was driven by the bond market cratering over.
Oh, this is important what he said, because I told you, I told you, this is all a strategic game is playing out.
What is happening with bonds? Is China selling their bonds?
I have nothing that says that, and we actually had quite a good 10-year auction today, and all this was, again, this was driven by the president's strategy. He and I had a long talk on Sunday, and this was his strategy all along. And that, you might even say that he goaded China into a bad position. They responded. They have shown themselves to the world to be the bad actors.
Okay, this was the plan all along. Okay, now I'm going to take you back even further. Remember this, guys? Remember, I showed you a video. He said we're going to be an even playing field. Before you know it, that was 7 years ago economically. He thought he was going to win again in the presidency, and then he had 4 years to stew over this. 4 years planning this. This was the plan all along. You're not just seeing irrational decisions. You're seeing methodical, stoic action. That's what you're seeing. He has self-interest in this. He's going to win. Okay. If the left would have won, they were going to win. Now, what I mean by that is you have to figure out where this money is flowing to. It is moving into digital assets. It's moving into deflationary assets. There's going to be a period where the system starts to change from these fake ass companies on the stock market. Most of the companies shouldn't even be on the stock market, guys. There's so much printed money and junk bonds. These companies shouldn't even be on the market. So many companies are going to get revealed when we go into true economics. You're going to see a lot of bankruptcies, guys. So you have to start to think, what are going to be growth companies? What companies are going to grow us out of this economy? What companies are going to be part of the new financial ecosystem? I know which companies. I put my money's where my mouth is. Our company's money's invested in it. My money's invested in it. And it's made us wealthy by not being emotional. Okay. I'll leave you with this last video from the Treasury Secretary. I mean, think about the switch. We went from Tweety Bird, Janet Yellen, to this gentleman. I mean, it's a whole different world, guys.
For the last 4 decades, basically since I began my career in Wall Street has grown wealthier than ever before, and it can continue to grow and do well. But for the next 4 years, the Trump agenda is focused on Main Street. It's Main Street's turn. It's Main Street's turn to hire workers. It's Main Street's turn to drive investment. And it's Main Street's turn to restore the American dream.
Okay, so here's what's happening. They are going to bring the wealth back to Main Street. Okay, they are destroying Wall Street right now to pump money into treasuries, to get Jerome Powell to lower interest rates, which helps the middle class, which helps the working class. The working class right now needs to make $150,000 to be middle class. So he had to shock the system, hurt the wealthy. Okay, but he's not hurting them. Everybody's buying the dip. The 10% is buying the dip. So that money floods into treasuries. They lower interest rates. They're going to stimulate the economy. They'll be borrowing again. He's going to bring a ton of jobs back into America. There's going to be short-term pain, and then there's going to be massive growth. You're going to go through a big, big economic growth cycle. Okay. So now over the next 6 years, you need to be super, super strategic. Okay. Over the last 5 years, we were crazy strategic with our money. That's how we did it. Let me explain to you what we did. Okay. In 2020, I lost everything, guys. This is going to be a longer video. I lost everything. I had left corporate America in 2017 to follow the American dream, to start a company. We finally got it figured out going into 2019. I'd lost everything, figured out my 401k, all my savings, finally got the business going. And then 2020, and then I started investing in cryptocurrency, and I had this really nice little portfolio, and I was learning about crypto and the vertical strategy. I was in business and I had this crypto portfolio. And then they came and locked our doors, the pandemic. They came and we had a gym. They shut our business down. We couldn't operate. So they came into my home and locked our doors here. This is the same facility. And they took away my ability to feed my family. And I was like, that's weird. And so I started to create money out of nothing. I was doing the Gary Vee flip strategy. I started, getting stuff free off Facebook Marketplace. I kept investing in crypto. I kept studying it. And then all of a sudden, boom, the bull run hits. And I'd never seen wealth that quickly in my life. And I'm like, wait a minute, we got to be very strategic with this. We got to steward this very, very well. So what we did is I followed the risk pyramid, and I followed this to the T today. I read a bunch of different books, Richest Man in Babylon, Think and Grow Rich, Cash Flow Quadrant. And I even came from banking. I didn't really understand how the money system works. They don't teach us this. So I studied the money system. I studied that dollars an inflationary asset, and that Bitcoin and XRP are deflationary assets. So simply, I'm like, I want to get my money out of this thing that makes me poor every single year, and I want to put it into something that's going to give me value every single year. So I started transmuting at a small level, and then we profited. Instead of buying Lambos and houses and, Gucci shit and fucking Rolex watches, excuse my language, sorry. I just get fired up. We bought cash generating businesses, and we scaled our businesses, and we put stuff into stuff that pays us money, right? And we took that money, we reinvested when everybody ran from crypto in 2022, 2023, 2024, and then Trump wins by a landslide, and boom, XRP shoots from 50 cents over $3. And you can imagine we're buying it at 17 cents, and that's where you're at right now. Is you have this opportunity to get in during speculation and regulation phase. But here's what's going to happen is crypto influencers got really rich in 2020 to 2022, and they were really broke in the bear market. And then they shield cryptocurrencies to get rich again. And then the bear market kind of hit. We weren't expecting this, and they're all scrambling, right? They didn't build real ecosystems. You have to build an ecosystem, guys. So I'll get off my soapbox, but this is so important right now. You have this opportunity to transmute your money into something deflationary, and then you have to be very strategic. You can either hold it, but when you profit, you want to make sure that you put it in things that are compound, protect, or grow. So what I do is I pull profits. First thing is my insurance policies. I insure my wealth. I use Index Universal Life. I max fund my policies. So I'm waiting for this bull run to pick up again. I'll max fund these policies. Once that bucket is full, then I move on to a little bit more precious metals, silver. I can tell you every time, more dividend ETF strategy. We're making cash flow every single month off of that. I de-risk that back into Bitcoin and XRP. We have businesses in multiple areas creating cash flow. I don't buy Lambos. I don't buy houses. I regenerate my money back into the system. If I want something, I will buy it with an asset. Okay, then we went into layering, like our businesses. We created a C corp, right? We did a C corp, and we started with an LLC, and now I'm doing a C corp, and I run everything through my C corp. I have a holding company, and all these different things that we learned. But we studied and we applied, and we studied and we applied, and we studied and we applied, and we started learning the tax codes, and we started learning about the Rockefeller waterfall system and how the wealthy use insurance, and you can do it too. That's the reason why I'm telling you this story. Is it took me 5 years to get here. And the next 5 years is where we're starting to build that ecosystem for generational wealth. So you can either play small and play for now, or you can play the big game and be patient. So I love you guys. And I have all the resources you need if you need any support. First resource is if you go into this channel here, you'll see a education section. I have tons of free education where I break down exactly what I do. Okay. If you need additional support, if you want to join our tribe, join our vibe, we have the largest crypto community in the world of amazing human beings. Live calls, market calls, community calls, education. I go live in there. We have our 5P framework teaching financial literacy. Example portfolios, entry and exit plans. We don't give you a fish, we teach you how to fish. We've helped 11,000 people worldwide, and we have 3,000 active people in there on a daily basis. So you'll see the 3T Warrior Academy, you'll see the Coach JV Academy. I also have my own brokerage. We get hundreds of messages a week, thousands per month over the past couple months around cash value life insurance. And so we want to demystify it and answer the questions you may have. What I do may not work for you, so we need to do a financial review for you. You can set an appointment with my team in my bio or down below. We can talk to you about cash value life insurance, bank on yourself, annuities, having cash flow for life, moving old 401ks. If you're worried about, holding larger amounts of money in your bank account, you want to learn how to protect your wealth with insurance. And yeah, in retirement income and things like that, my team can sit down with you with a free consultation. We love to help people. That's why we created our brokerage. That's why we created our whole ecosystem. So we just want to support you and give you the resources you need. That's all in my bio. I love you guys. I appreciate you. As we always say, Warriors rise. Thanks for still being here. 20 minutes in. Love you.